Oh, I didn't know my computer was recording. Welcome back, everybody. This week has been really rough, but anyway, it's Moto Monday, and this video is being recorded on Tuesday night because I've been finding it really hard this week to uh, put together content or put together ideas for Moto Monday. And in light of all the stuff that's been going on here in Minneapolis, I've been drained. That's been draining my energy. But anyway, you guys, I have finally was able to put together some stuff to talk about tonight. Um, and here goes. So, uh, like I said, I've been feeling drained this week, and it's to do with it's in regards to all the rioting, um, my family life stuff that's been happening, and just trying to get our new business up and running and trying to get it operational, processing clients. That's all been taking so much of my energy. But anyway, some key points out there that a lot of people are mixing up. A lot of people, I've been watching all these, of course there's Facebook too. I'm forgetting about Facebook. I've been reading a lot of Facebook threads, which I typically don't do, just seeing what my friends are commenting on and what they're saying about all the stuff that's going on, which I should not be doing. um, so I confess that's kind of where my energy has been going. So I've been drained really by all of that. So I feel like after looking at all those comments on Facebook, it's looking like a lot of people are mixing up the Black Lives Matter movement, the protests for George Floyd, and the looters. They're mixing the looters, those who are burning down buildings, looting, uh, those who are out there being violent, violently protesting, they're mixing them up with this issue of Black lives not being valued in America. And that really is kind of vexing because it can easily be done. It doesn't take a whole lot for people to kind of taint the whole movement or taint what the real reason or the real purpose of the people who are out there peacefully protesting daily. And I feel like that's just terrible because this time when the rest of the world is watching, when the world is finally paying attention to the issues that people in America and around the world are faced with, then there are these violent protests and all these different things happening. I feel like that's terrible, and people should not mix the violent protesters with people who are peacefully protesting to change society and to finally to have a chance at making new laws and different things. So that's kind of saddening to see that. Um, and I don't think anyone can make an argument. I don't think an argument can be made for that type of behavior, looting, destroying. I'm a business owner, and these communities that really need these services are having now to go without because people want to burn and destroy everything in society. And I feel like it's terrible because most of the people out there who are trying to burn down, loot, destroy businesses and all these different things, and I'm talking mom and pop, I'm talking I'm talking Main Street, not Wall Street businesses. It's terrible because it takes years to build a business, and everyone knows that it takes at least 5 years for a business to actually be able to stand on its own and be fully functioning, fully running. Just with the light of a match, or a cocktail, a Molotov cocktail, you can set up a whole business ablaze, um, and in seconds it can just be destroyed, and people's livelihood are attached to those things. So I'm definitely against that kind of behavior. As if you haven't noticed already, I'm definitely against that, and I don't think it's productive at all. For one reason, I was born in Liberia, and before I was born, there were a lot of rioting happening that destroyed the society that I was born into before. I was even able to um, be on Earth. So it's not fair to our future generations to have these amenities and these things that could actually enrich their lives be destroyed before they actually get here. It's actually the worst thing you can do. Um, so that's my rant on that right now. Uh, just you know, it just all that behavior really just takes away from the real issues. Police brutality, racism, and the high unemployment rate here in our community for people of color. It's super high. The disparity between white people here in Minnesota, um, and people of color and employment and wealth is so the disparity is so vast that like these people who are out there burning all these businesses and doing all these things, they are a part of the problem. They are not helping. They're not about George. They're not about fixing anything in society. um Sorry, on a brighter note, today our governor Tim Walz launched you know you know launched an ongoing audit of the Minneapolis Police Department. And I think that's a good start. There's a lot of systemic racism, systemic racist policy that targets these communities, communities of color here, black people, and all this stuff. And that has to end. And I feel like if this succeed, and I know this is going to take years, but if they succeed, they will be very progressive and showing to the rest of the world and the rest of the country um, that Minneapolis is a great place to live, like we know it is a great place to live. So that's all I have to share um, for how my week went. Um, yeah, with that being said, let's dive into the two things I want to talk to you guys about today. Courage is number one, and choice number two. Hey guys, so courage. Courage is having the energy, the strength to face adversity, to have the strength to face pain and grief. And right now, everyone in America is in pain for George Floyd. Everyone in America is grieving the fact that those police officers stood by and participated in his death in the way that they did. That was inhumane, and that was not the America that I fought for, and that's not the America that I want to raise my children in. So, courage, having courage that goes beyond George Floyd's death, when all this protests, when all these the rioting is over with, all the burning and all the stuff is over with, we're going to be left with one another. We're going to have to face each other daily in our communities. I am saying today that when it's all over and said and done, that when we see our fellow man in pain, and I'm not talking screaming, bleeding, and all this stuff, it's when someone blatantly disrespects that person because of the color of their skin, disrespects them because of their status, disrespects them because of where they come from and all that stuff. I'm saying speak up, making a hard choice. The little things, is what matters, you guys. That's the stuff that counts. That's the stuff that is innocuous, but it's lasting work. It's the work that we all can continue on to make our country a better place. And just in general, having courage. A lot of people don't have the strength to be courageous because being courageous, usually doesn't really is not there's no it's rarely ever instant gratification with being courageous. Being courageous is the long road. It's not something that it's sexy most of the time. It's something that it's done. It's kind of like you're a buzzkill when you're doing something that this has an aim, has the bigger picture in mind versus just the here and now. So I just want people to be courageous and speak up, disrupt things in a compassionate way, like black jokes and gay jokes and all the different things that we all participated in and participate in daily. We have to stop those things. Those things don't, they don't make our fellow men, countrymen feel valued, and it's precisely the part of the problem. All right. So that's, with that being said, that's it for courage, for being courageous. So now let's talk about choice. Choice. So recently I was watching a very viral video on Facebook, and I think it's on YouTube as well, in which this girl, or this lady, sorry, was I think she was part of a group of protesters, and she was like the camera focused on her, and she was talking, and she was saying that um, black people were taught violence, taught how to be, ruthless, and taught how to kill, or not kill, but yeah, taught how to destroy and do all the things that the looters and vandals and people who were out there destroying our society, they were taught that by white folks. Um, I kind of was listening to that, and while that sounds good, and that sounds good enough to fuel the protests, fuel what's happening, it just doesn't it just doesn't take responsibility for what's being done out there. Any destruction to this society in any kind of way, any destruction that's out there, those who are destroying those things are responsible for the destruction that they're doing, for the kind of a destruction that they're doing to society. They're responsible for that. You can't put, because that's their action. They're acting in a way. So they're now, because of their actions, they are now responsible for what they're doing. No one's making them do that. Because at the end of the day, the choice, guys, is always ours. We are always responsible for our choice that we make, no matter what. You can say there are outside forces in the environment that influence us, that make us do certain things, or channel us on a certain path, but the choice is always ours. And it's not comfortable to know that we always have a choice. And it doesn't sound sexy to say that, but the choice is always ours. And because what does this mean for our future, for future generations, is that the issues that we should be addressing now, if we don't make choices to address them now, we will be kicking the can down the road and keep kicking the can, and those issues, and in hoping that one of the, like, some generation down the road is going to take responsibility or to make a choice to fix the issues that we're faced with, or to be courageous to to face those issues head on and try to solve them. That's what we will be doing. We will be doing when we make other people responsible for our actions. I don't think that's fair in any kind of way. Um, so anyway, so I'm just saying we can't keep, we cannot, and I'm saying this to white people, I'm saying this to police, people in the police force, I'm saying it to everybody out there. We always have a choice. We always have a choice if we're going to allow the police, the 4 police officers that took George Floyd's life, to get away with it. We have a choice to not let the local police department be responsible for the way in which they police the black people, police communities of color. We have a choice always, you guys, to hold people responsible, Are government officials responsible for this, allowing this and looking away, allowing this kind of racism and devaluing of black lives to be okay? The choice is ours, and we have to start making hard choices, because hard choices need to be made. Um, so in order for society to change. With that being said, guys, that's all I have today. That's all I have to share for Moto Monday. I hope this was motivating. Um, but these times are, I mean, I hope this was motivating. And these times call for us to be courageous, to be strong, and we need to make hard choices. We need to understand that the choice is always ours. No one looking at our generation, looking years from now, would think that we weren't responsible for the things that they're now experiencing because of our inaction. Someone has to be responsible for the generation 25 years from now, 15 years from now. Someone has to be responsible for that. And the ball's in our court, you guys. We have those cans. We can't kick them down the road and leave them to be faced with police brutality, be faced with racism, devaluing of their lives. Um, and all of us are responsible. All of us are in this together. All right, you guys. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Moto Monday. I'll see you next time. I'll see you tomorrow on Wednesday. Thank you so much. Yeah, have a good rest of your day.